Today, we're going to be discussing how America and Donald Trump's secret Bitcoin plan has forced China to expose their Bitcoin plan publicly. We have seen recently, since Donald Trump has announced this US global strategic Bitcoin reserve, we've seen countries like Russia, we've seen countries like even Poland, and even countries in Germany see a little bit of pressure from politicians to backflip on their Bitcoin position and embrace Bitcoin. And now we're seeing the two big global superpowers all of a sudden publicly start to talk about this strategic Bitcoin reserve. I saw this news come out literally yesterday, and again, it's New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's to everyone. And I absolutely had to do a quick live stream for you guys to break down why China's secret Bitcoin plan is slowly but surely becoming less secret by the day, and it's being forced into the public. And of course, China's secret Bitcoin plan is very related to Hong Kong. That is because we all know that Hong Kong is pretty much controlled by China. Okay, so let's have a look at what Hong Kong is doing. I'm going to highlight the breaking news that came out yesterday. A Hong Kong legislator by the name of Mr. Wu, I will not try to pronounce his last name, has now advocated that China should leverage its one country, two systems policy to include Bitcoin in the region's national reserve. He says that this is going to enhance financial security for not only Hong Kong, but also China. And again, this is why I'm so fascinated with this China-Hong Kong connection. Again, we all know that yes, China banned Bitcoin a very long time ago, back in 2021. But we can see all of these very interesting data points have been coming out of China for a long time that we've been keeping you guys up to date with. Obviously, Shanghai courts and Chinese courts all across the nation in 2022 and 2023 were interestingly regarding Bitcoin as personal property in China, despite it being banned at the national level by the CCP. But again, more recently, we all know kind of what's been going on with Hong Kong, and that kind of the whole China-Hong Kong connection, it all started when this Bloomberg article that we're about to look at was released in 2023. This is when there was finally a little bit more confirmation publicly about China's secret Bitcoin plan and how Hong Kong was going to actually be a part of it. So we can see here, way back in February 2023, that's nearly 2 years ago now, this article changed everything. This was the first confirmation point that we had that Hong Kong would be a part of China's secret Bitcoin plan. Okay, because we all know that until February 2023, we just had 2 years of confusion in the Bitcoin space, in particular relating to mining, okay? And that's because of the chart I'm about to show you guys here in a moment. That is because of what happened with China's Bitcoin mining hash rate. Okay, I found the chart. I have found the chart of what I believe is the most interesting chart in the Bitcoin space right now. Now, we're going to be focusing on the yellow. The yellow part of this chart is representing the global Bitcoin hash rate controlled by China. We can see, pre-2021, pre-Bitcoin ban, this represented about 60% of the global Bitcoin hash rate. Okay? It's a lot of hash. It's an incredible amount of hash. Okay? And we all saw what happened after China banned Bitcoin mining. It all dropped off in line. But then in late 2021, that's where things really started to change. That's where we saw that little piece of yellow pop back on the chart once again. And we can see for pretty much 2 years, we were a little bit confused. We didn't know why 20% of the global Bitcoin hash rate was still in China. But I think this article in early 2023 was confirmation that China did have a secret Bitcoin plan. There was a reason for why the hash rate was mysteriously popping up in China 6 months after the strongest and most powerful nation state in the world actually banned Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining. Okay, so you guys can read the article. Hong Kong's crypto hub ambitions win the quiet backing from Beijing. So again, Hong Kong, what happened yesterday? What's the brand new news that happened yesterday? It is Hong Kong legislators openly saying, hey, we should leverage this system that we have. What do they call the system? They call the system a one country, two systems policy. This is because China considers Hong Kong a part of the mainland China, even though they're not. And I think it's pretty clear that China has been leveraging Hong Kong for some time now. Let's not forget, Hong Kong spot ETFs have been launched this year. Chinese investors with the right certifications can now get their money out of China and get Bitcoin exposure in the public markets through buying these Hong Kong spot Bitcoin ETFs. It's very, very clear. Again, maybe it's not clear. I have thought that it's been clear for a long time that Hong Kong is a part of China's secret Bitcoin plan. Okay? And again, these Hong Kong ETFs have done well. And that's because people want to get money out of China and, more importantly, out of Hong Kong. Money has been fleeing this region. And that is because the property market has been collapsing in China. And again, let's look at how overvalued the property market is in Hong Kong and China. For those who don't know, the average price of an average home in Hong Kong is, as you can see at the very top of this chart, somewhere around 22 times the average person's income. So that means if the average income in Hong Kong is 10,000 US dollars, that means the average home is 220,000 US dollars. It's a pretty big difference. 22x. You need to save your entire income for 22 years to buy the average size home in Hong Kong. So the property market, it's high, it's overvalued, it's incredibly extended. And this is why the Chinese and Hong Kong citizens have been trying to get money out of the country for a very long time. Again, for those who don't know, 70% of wealth in China is tied up in real estate. And you can see the real estate market, for the first time in a long time, started busting in 2022. Look at all of those red months, one after the other, after the other, after the other. And the reality on the ground is actually a lot scarier than that. It's a lot worse than that. The markets are down even more than that, which is pretty crazy to think about. So this is why we're slowly but surely seeing this flee of money out of China. And it's looking for a safer home. Now, obviously, we think that safer home is Bitcoin, but you don't even need to take my opinion about it, okay? We do know. I'm going to try to find you an article that the Chinese citizens have been dumping stocks and rushing into Bitcoin as a protection. I know that sounds like a big claim, but let's have a look at this article I have for you guys. Bruised by the stock market, China rushes into banned Bitcoin. It's a real article. Again, we've showed you this before previously, so we're not going to go through the entire video. We encourage you guys to go watch our previous videos on China. But again, we're just trying to build a case here. Hong Kong is the escape valve for Chinese money. It really is as simple as that. China is the escape valve. And there's a lot of quotes here in this article that I encourage you all to read of just everyday Chinese citizens getting money out of the stock markets, out of China, and they're putting it into a safe haven like Bitcoin. Because again, the stock markets are absolutely cratering in the country. Very different. It's, as All Night Hider in the chat says, Chinese real estate has looked like a retirement plan for many for some years. A lot of people use real estate as a retirement plan. 70% of the country's net worth or its wealth was all tied up in property. When it started to crumble, the tide went out, baby, and we were able to see who was swimming naked. This is why we're seeing so much interest in Bitcoin. This is why I do believe everybody is short Bitcoin. If the Chinese citizens are running into Bitcoin while it's banned, and if you're not running into Bitcoin when it's not banned in your local country, I don't know what to tell you guys. What I will tell you guys is, again, if you are looking for somewhere to buy your Bitcoin, check out what Rhino Bitcoin is doing. We believe they're the best Bitcoin super application for you to buy your Bitcoin and escape draconian regulations that are being put out there by governments like China. Okay, we really like what Rhino is doing. We think they've got the slickest user interface in the entire space. And even right now, they're going to be giving you guys $10 of free Bitcoin as a little bit of a Christmas present, so to say, if you sign up with Rhino Bitcoin and use a promo code Bitcoin News. One word. It will be linked down below for you guys to copy and paste into the Rhino application. Now, again, I do think what we're seeing in China, it's just another data point that the entire world is slowly but surely FOMOing into Bitcoin in a pretty big way. Yes, Google Trends have been picking up, but they've kind of tapered off a little bit. If I were to show you what I'm talking about, I want to try to show you guys where the retail interest for Bitcoin is on Google Trends. We can see we've seen a little bit of a peak recently worldwide, but it's cooled off a bit. To the people saying Bitcoin's topped at 100K, I don't know. This chart doesn't really tell us that Bitcoin's topped at 100K. It doesn't really tell us that we're seeing a massive speculative bubble yet. Not yet. Again, don't get me wrong. It's starting. It's brewing. There's signs. There are signs, but I do think we're very early in this Bitcoin bull market. We're only 9 months post-halving, and now we have nation states all around the world FOMOing into Bitcoin. You can see there's over 21 nations on this list. These are the countries exploring Bitcoin strategic reserves. Have a look at the list. It's ridiculous, it's crazy, it's bananas, and it's happening. And now you can add Hong Kong to that long list we have right there, because now Hong Kong is joining the race. And I do think there is a connection to be tied here to China. So again, that was the news that dropped yesterday, December 30th. Again, I don't know if you guys can tell. My voice is a little bit scratchy. I've had a big couple nights here. It's New Year's Eve. We're about to go out now. It's 8 o'clock. I'm late for our little bit of a dinner warm-up. So I better get out of here. I just wanted to bring you guys the quick news because I saw this announcement yesterday and I thought, wow, hang on a minute, pay attention to China. Donald Trump is about to be inaugurate. How do you say that word? He's going to be in office in a few days here. And I think it's interesting that while everybody's distracted with Christmas celebrations, all of the festivities, New Year's Eve today, Hong Kong legislators are saying, hey, let's leverage this partnership we have with China to create strategic Bitcoin reserves in our country. Again, it's all about the wording. This Hong Kong legislator says, let's leverage China's one country, two systems policy to include Bitcoin in the region's national reserves. It is all about the language. What he's saying, the quiet part's out loud. I'm reading between the lines here. He's saying China can stack Bitcoin by putting it on the balance sheet of Hong Kong. And we can leverage this policy where we have this handshake agreement that we're two nations under the one rule. That's the news, guys. Speaking of the news, we got the banter in the chat as well. My boy Green Candle, who's in the same house as me, believe it or not, right now, says easy on the hair gel. You know what? I actually think I need a bit more on. Look at how crazy that mop is. Better go have a shower before we go out tonight because me and Green Candle, we've got a lot of Bitcoin orange pilling to do tonight on the streets of Medellin, Colombia. Let's go. I'm going to be very careful with what I say, but what I will say is I will wish you a happy new year. Don't get too crazy out there. Enjoy yourselves. Stay focused on what the mission is, and that is orange pilling the world. As McLovin says, happy new year to everyone. It's a beautiful note to end this stream on. I'll see you guys in another live stream tomorrow.